Hello everybody, Timothy Bailey here with Project Learn of Summit County. Today we are going to look at two things that make up the words that we use almost every day in English. And we're going to look at the prefixes and we're going to look at suffixes. But what are prefixes and suffixes? Well, we have a word, okay? We often call this a base word or a root word. And we add things to the beginning of the word. Those are the prefixes. And we add things to the end of the word. Those are the suffixes. Let's look at a quick example here. We have the word reheated. Okay, let's get our pencil down here. So the base word or the root word in this word is heat. This is the word itself. I can use just that word by itself. Tomorrow I will heat some lunch up, right? But we can also add a prefix. So the prefix re. So if I reheat something, imagine that I made my lunch tomorrow. Then I had a lot of it left over, so I wanted to finish it for dinner. I might reheat it in the microwave. To heat again. Re means again. After I eat my lunch, I could use reheated in a sentence, right? Ed we know is the past tense. So if I've eaten my lunch tomorrow and I'm talking to you, I might tell you I reheated my lunch. That means in the past, earlier to that day, I heated my lunch again. So the suffix is ed. Again, the prefix is re, to do something again. The suffix is ed, which tells us it happened in the past. And then the root word or the base word is heat. Let's look at some more examples and just see if we can figure out what the prefixes and suffixes are. Here, books. This is a good example of a very common suffix, just the S. This is a suffix that doesn't change the meaning that much. So we have one book, now we just have maybe 2 books or 100 books. Okay? The idea is mostly still the same. Let's get another one. Talked. So we talked about this one, the ed. This is the verb, the root word talk, to speak, like I'm doing now. Ed just tells us the past tense. So S and ed, two of our most common suffixes for words. Well, how about unhappy? Happy we know, okay? It's a beautiful day, I am happy. Un, the prefix, means not. So I am not happy. Okay, I am not happy. For these you can see most of the prefixes and suffixes are not words themselves. They are letters or groups of letters that we cannot use by themselves. So we would never just say S or S or ED or UN, right? We add them. Here's another one. So we have the verb, swim. This is the root word, swim. Then we have the present continuous form, swimming, which we would use with the be verb. He is swimming. This is a suffix. But look, we've added a second suffix, the ly. And we can do this. We can add 2 suffixes to a root word, right? Try another one. Readable. Able, in this word pronounced able, is one of the suffixes that's a word by itself. I am able, right, to tie my own shoes. I am able to go for a walk. It's something that I can do. Readable then, I can, or it is possible to read whatever we're talking about. Okay? The newspaper article was readable despite the spill. So I spilled my water on the newspaper, but I can still read it. It's possible to still read it. What if I spilled my water on the newspaper article and it was really badly damaged? The water went all over and the ink in the newspaper got smeared. Then we might say, adding a prefix, un, that it is unreadable. So then it is not able to be read. Okay? We cannot read it. Here's a nice chart. So they tell us what we've been talking about here, about prefixes. This is just a chart for prefixes that we can look at. Okay? The nice thing about this chart, and I have some resources at the end here, is they give you the prefix, anti, auto, by, dis. They give you a very simplified meaning, and then they give you a sample word, and the meaning then for that sample word. Okay? So let's take something we already know, such as bicycle, right? We know the root word. Cycle is what we would say. Notice the pronunciation changes by adding the prefix. So bicycle, and we would often say just cycle, right? So a bike, right? A bike. Bi means two. So this is a cycle, a bike, with two wheels. We also have, if you go down here, tri, which means three. We have something called a tricycle. Children ride them. Although there are motorcycle versions now that adults drive. This would be a cycle with three wheels. Okay. Look at another one. Here we had pre, right? Pre is to do something before. So we know the verb pay. I need to pay for something I'm going to buy. A good example would be, I need a hotel room. I'm taking a trip this weekend. I need to pay for the hotel room, but I need to often pay before I get there. So I must prepay. I go to the hotel website and I pay for my hotel room before I get there. Okay, before I get there. Okay. Check out this chart. You can look at it again. As I said, I have a couple other resources that are helpful as well. But I wanted to talk just briefly. Let's look at the word happy. So we have unhappy, not glad. Glad is a synonym of happy. So this means not happy, right? Just to simplify it. Un down here is not. But if you look at the list of prefixes, you also notice that dis also means not, as in disagree, not agree, don't agree. So then why is it that we cannot say dis happy? Okay, why can we not do that? Let's look here at this website. Right? This website here, which I'm just going to share with you, has a lot of information about the negative prefixes. They call them affixes. Prefixes and suffixes are all called affixes. But this talks about in, un, and non. And then some more down through here that you can read on your own. The thing that I wanted to show you, if we look here. So we see the origin of the prefix. So this means not, or an, non, in, im, ill. These all mean not, as does un and dis. But we were looking at unhappy. So un comes from Old English. Old English is just English a long time in the past, right? Not modern English, right? Very far in the past. But we had another word, right? Let's look at happy. Let's go to the dictionary. Here we have happy, and happy comes from Middle English, right? About 1300, the year 1300. A lot closer to Old English, we could say, than what we might speak today. Part of the reason why we cannot use just any prefix such as dis with another word such as happy is because of where they come from. So if we go back, happy, we said, came from Middle English. Un comes from Old English. They're both very old, but neither of them come from Greek or Latin. You can see dis comes from Latin. So the Latin prefix we cannot use with the Middle English root word. Okay, that's a simple explanation for that. Let's continue on. Some advice. Well, there are no real rules for prefixes and suffixes. You sort of have to study their meanings. And again, I have a couple resources for you. I would become familiar with the prefixes and suffixes and what they mean. You might also look for lists that give you the common prefixes and suffixes. Okay? We don't use many of them. If you find a lot of medical prefixes or suffixes, they may not be very common. If you're going to be a nurse, they might be helpful, but every day they may not be. Another suggestion is to learn words, right, by family. This should say words, right? Don't learn just one word at a time. Well, what does that mean? Here I have a list of words. This is an academic word list. And in the word list, they give you not just one of the words. So assess was up here at the beginning, which was very good. Let me find assess for you. You also have all of these forms: accessible, assessed, assesses, assessing, reassessment, reassessed. So if you learn this word, you've learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different words. And you can see the list. Many of the words have a lot of different forms. Constitute has a lot of forms. So when you learn word families, you can increase your vocabulary quickly by learning the different forms with their prefixes and suffixes. I hope that was helpful for you. I will post the resources here. Here are the resources. I don't know why my page wouldn't work. 2 links that you can go to learn more about the prefixes and suffixes. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you and have a good day.